reversed the decision not to marry off children.
Literally saw a grandpa crying because Somalia banned child marriage. No way. Where's the video?
mugdiya maalin madow ah shalay baarlamaanka wuxuu u soo saaray ama uu go'aan ku gaaray wax la aqbali kara ma aha annaga muslim baan nahay boqol muslim baan nahay Soomaali ilaahay laga cabsado aabay culimadeena Soomaaliyeed aabay culimadeena Soomaaliyeed war ilaahay aan ka cabsano arrimahan laga hortago arrimo la aqbali karo ma aha 18 sano gaalay qoran tahay caruurtooda ku qaangaaraan annaga inaan ku raacno ma aha.
The country said no child marriage. Uncle took it personally. What? What did I just watch? What did we just witness? No child marriage. And an uncle's worldview just collapses in our eyes right now.
The mothers are also helpless. They are also victims in that patriarchal society. And I do not need to tell you who the problem is. Y'all know who and what the problem is. Men.
dadkan waana rogayaan ilaahay aan ka cabsano war ilaahay aan ka cabsano arrimahan laga hortago.
Hi guys, welcome to my channel. So today we are talking about the Somalis. Okay, for the longest time the Somali have had this habit of marrying children. Yes, I know some people are shaking their head. Someone who's at age of 10, 11, 12, it was normal. It was part and parcel of the culture, and of course under the guise of the Islamic religion. Okay, so we all know about Somalis right now. The majority of them, or should I say, the country is known as #1 religion is Muslim, as an Islam. So they practice that, and of course, they themselves, for the longest time, they follow the Quran teaching, which is okay, which is fine. And also they, as a government, they've implemented that aspect where because of the Quran says so yes, even them, they have the right to do so. So in one of the hadith in the Quran, it says that yes, a child can get married if you're the age of 10, 11, 12, you know. So the Somalis really implemented that, and it has been going on for the longest time. You see a kid getting married. If you look at this video, seeing a kid getting married, and it's normal, and the families will celebrate, and a child will end up becoming pregnant, and end up having a child. So a child is taking care of a child, and it has literally brought a lot of chaos in the community. So let's watch this video, and then we are going to discuss it at the end, and let me know what your thoughts are.
Good news, the age of marriage in Somalia has now been changed to 18 years of age. So you can't get married unless you're 18 years of age. Now to all the old heads that were marrying 10-year-old girls, to all the old heads who were even marrying girls who didn't even reach the age of puberty.
Breaking news! This is huge. Somalia has gone left. Somalia has gone liberal. This is bad. This is really, really bad. Let me explain. With these new laws, Somalia will no longer be 99.9% Muslim. The government is pushing a new law of freedom of religion, meaning in the future you may see Somali Christians, Somali agnostics, Somali Jews, and even worse, Somali atheists. And they will also not be allowing marriages under the age of 18. So out with Islam and in with Western-made laws.
I knew I made the mistake of praising the Somali government way too early, because guess what? They already reversed the decision not to marry off children. Let me be actually specific, not to marry off girls, because I have never seen a case where a Somali boy under the age of 18 has been forced to marry off to a grown-ass woman. It's never happened, because they actually let boys grow up and actually get an education. But for God forbid a girl gets her period, she's automatically old enough to be carrying a child around when she's 9 years old. And if you bring the Prophet's name up, you're getting dembi for that. I hope you guys know that every time somebody brings up the Prophet's name and slanders him by saying that he married a child, you are slandering the Prophet and you are getting so much sin for that. It has already been proven that Aisha was way over the age of 16 when she married the Prophet and didn't consummate the marriage until she was way over 19. The only hadith that says she was under that age is the one that has never been verified, but guess what? Perverted men have stuck to that one because it fits their narrative to continue to marry children and abuse children. Y'all are getting so much dembi for that, because when you see pictures like this where the little girl literally cannot physically be around that man, the imam that participated, the parents that participated, the man that did it, all are getting dembi. You are all going to the deepest parts of hell for that. Somalia will never be a prosperous country because they continue to abuse women and children and worship Khabil. That is literally why that country will never be prosperous. There's not a law that prevents men from abandoning those children when they marry them and force them to have children. There's not a law dictating that they continue to take care of the children that they forced to have. There's no law forcing a man to actually fulfill his Islamic obligation onto his wife. But guess what? They all decided they wanted to marry children, so now the law has been reversed. The one time I thought our government was actually going to do the right thing, it got reversed because there are perverted men in the Somali government too. And men do not make decisions that protect women and children because they don't care about women and children. They only care about themselves. And in the Somalia's case, they only care about themselves, their Khabil, because they worship Khabil more than they worship ylwho. I've never seen a Somali man die over Islam, but guess how many times I've heard of a Somali man dying over his Khabil? That's all I gotta say. And to anybody that's about to come in my comments saying, why am I spreading our ab everywhere? You guys understand it's ab. You guys know it's ab. You know it's disgusting. And you want me to keep it quiet instead of actually speaking out about this. This decision will eventually happen. One day we will move forward as a people and actually stop child marriages. And that day will come soon. But it will happen after we continue to embarrass Somalia in the news, in the media, in the Western countries, because until they are shamed into making progress, they won't do it.
Somalia, what the fuck y'all got going on over there?
I'm scrolling through my For You page, and I see a 74-year-old man
Crying about
an outlaw of child marriage over there in Somalia.
what? They said if you already going through puberty, you are eligible to sleep with that grandpa. Not only that, but they can force you to believe in something you don't even believe in. I need my Somalians to come explain themselves in the comments because I am lost. I wish I could have all the information to make sense, but this shit's not making sense, bruh. Can someone make sense in the comments? Can someone make sense for me, bruh?
For people who are saying, why are they relying on government to protect the girl child in Somalia? Why are they relying on government to make rules to protect this girl child? What happens to their parents? Why are their parents giving them out for marriage? Why are their parents not protecting them? First of all, you need to understand that the mother has little or no say in this case because it is a patriarchal system and the father makes decision about the family. So even if she does not want her girl child to be married off at a young age, if the father wants it, he will give that girl out for marriage because it's a patriarchal system. Now, those fathers are having those children for economic reasons because they mostly give out these young girls to older men who are rich because those men are capable of paying. So they have these children for economic reasons and they give them out to these men to marry them. They do not care about these children. If they do not care about women, I don't see any way they will care about their girl child because generally they do not care about women. Now, because these men have failed in their responsibility to take care of their children, to protect their children, that is why we need the government. That is why we need laws. That is why we need rules that we say that men should not be able to marry children. And even if you as a father give out your child to be married, you will be arrested because the government has the responsibility to protect that child. Now, for people who will say, oh, the mothers are not doing anything, I want to also remind you that the mothers mothers protested, and that is why the government considered that rule in the first place. Now, the reason why the government considered that children should not be married to adults is because the women in that community were angry, they protested, they revolted, they talked about it until the government listened and said, okay, they shouldn't be marrying children anymore. But to show you that men are more powerful in those society and what patriarchy is capable of doing, immediately men say, no, we can't have, you cannot tell us not to marry children. The government reversed the rule immediately. So I need to explain for people who are saying, oh, what of the mothers? What are the mothers? This is the reason. The mothers are also helpless. They are also victims in that patriarchal society. And I do not need to tell you who the problem is. Y'all know who and what the problem is. Men, they are the problem. And really,
all right, so hi guys, so I am so happy to see this video, the way the community and the Somali government, it has put in place and saying, no, we are not doing this anymore. We are putting a law where we are stopping these child marriages because our children end up suffering, and the youngest age someone can get married is 18 years old, which is good. I'm so happy about that, because an 18-year-old is an adult, is a mature person. Of course, they've gone through their puberty, they have gone through their teenage years, so now she's just a young adult, and she most likely she has finished school, and of course her mind is a bit mature as compared to a 12-year-old child. You know, a 12-year-old is still a baby who's trying to grow. Even the body organs, they're still a baby, they're still growing up, you know. So trying to have a 12-year-old becoming pregnant and having a baby, the kind of damage due to that child, the kind of psychological damage due to that baby, you know, this 12-year-old wants to go outside there and play, wants to go out there and go to school like the other kids, wants to go out there and just have a normal childhood. And here you're telling that child that you're going to become a wife, you know, you're going to have a baby, you're going to take care of the house, you're going to clean the house, you're going to cook, you're going to look after an old man, because these young children, they used to be married to a 70-year-old or a 60-year-old or a 50-year-old, and that's basically what it used to be. And the Somali community, it was normal. No, it was really normal to do all this, and they celebrate, and the whole family they pay their dowry, and it's okay, it's normal. While when you look at this child, she's still a baby, but she has no other alternative. I mean, she has no alternative. This is what the community is telling her, it's okay, it's normal. And then when you follow up such cases, you hear, oh, but then this child end up dying because of giving birth. Others end up having the fistula, where when you are giving birth, you end up having a problem with your reproductive this damage, so you end up having fistula, which a lot of children end up having in Somali community as a result of that. You know, the body is still young, is still growing, and then you're forcing that body to give birth to a baby. The kind of psychological torture these people, the women, go through is a lot. Now, remember, this 12-year-old is gonna grow up. Remember, she hasn't gone to school. And with the way things are right now, the technology world, the modern world, if a child doesn't go to school, what kind of a future are you going to have? And then you're being told this child will end up having like 1, 2, 3 kids, and then this man will end up having like 2, 3 wives, or even end up divorcing this same child. And then this same child is having like 3 kids to take care of, and she has to maybe end up getting divorced and still end up having to take care of these kids in the future with this modern world where she has no education. So a lot of these women face a lot of challenges. That's the reason why it's very important, you know, to accept the reality that, you know, the things that our elderly people used to do during those days, it cannot be done during today's world. We need to change with the times, because we need to equip our people with the necessary tools so they'll be able to survive, they'll be able to be independent, they'll be able to take care of their children normal. Because in today's world, if you're not able to take care of yourself and your children, and if you're not able to earn money, you'll just be frustrated, you end up becoming poor, and of course living a miserable life. And basically this is what these women used to go through. And unfortunately, when they used to get divorced, usually in the society, in the Somali community, they used to look at you in a certain way, like as if you're a failure, like as if you are not part of the community. And then maybe you have 2-3 kids along the way, and it doesn't even, and you don't know, your husband is not supporting you, your ex-husband is not supporting you. So now you're forced to get married again, and then have more children, and the cycle continues over and over and over. I am so glad the government stepped in and came up with this policy, because I know majority of Somalis right now, they are educated and they know exactly what the community needs to change, and they know exactly how to help their women. And I'm glad they stepped in and changed the system. This old man who's crying in the video, he needs to understand times have changed. He needs to understand that you cannot hide and at the culture, because you want, you want to have those pervert pleasure viewers. You cannot do that anymore. If you end up crossing the law, like the way the government has put in place, then you're going to be jailed. That's basically what in a nutshell what they're saying. If you end up getting married to a child who's 12 to 13, under the current law, you are going to be jailed as now the man, those old men do like doing that. So I'm so happy to see that. So to give an opportunity to these ladies to go to school, to learn, to grow, so that by the time they get married, they're equipped, they're well equipped, so that they'll be able to take care of themselves, their family, and of course be able to cater to the new surrounding, new home that they're marrying into. So let me know what you think about this video. Please subscribe to my channel, and of course drop your comments. I'd love to hear from you guys. Bye-bye.